Welcome to GAC Podcast, where the seeds of knowledge are sown and the fields of agriculture and environmental sustainability are explored. I'm your host, Phillips Josh, and together we embark on a journey to cultivate a deeper understanding of farming practices, green initiatives, and the sustainable future of our planet. Join us as we plow through insightful discussions, interviews, and practical tips. Let's harvest wisdom together on GAC Podcast. So, having been introduced by I would want to say still, welcome to the month of February. January was more like a planning phase for us, and that was where we had to get the topics lined out, researches done, although not through, but for February we have all content ready for you. Now, if you did not listen to the pre-episode that was done January to actually explain how the episodes will run for the year 2024, please do well to do that. I'm going to be dropping the link in the description bar. So all you just have to do is, after listening to this, go back, listen to that, so you would know how the sequence of our podcast episodes are going to be followed. Now, for the month of February, we are going to be talking about poultry waste management, and that is a course. It's a month course, and we're going to be recording it every Saturday. So where we stop for this episode, for this week, we're going to continue there from next week. So if you're just listening or going to be breaking things in pieces, you might not really get the essence of it. So for you to be able to follow suit for season 3 on GAC Podcasts, you have to follow suit from the beginning till the end. That is when you're going to get value for your time. That is when you're going to get value for your data. That is when you're going to get value for your resources. All right. Welcome once more to the month of February, and this is season 3 of GAC Podcasts, and this is the first episode ever, official episode for 2024. Over to the topic of today, poultry waste management. Now, for this first episode, we are going to discuss or expatiate on the overview of what poultry waste is and how to manage it effectively. Then subsequent episodes for the month of February will actually dive into different aspects of poultry waste management that you might not even know. All right, and the aim, what ends the episode, is how you can make money off poultry waste. So this is to actually help open our eyes to opportunities that were once hidden and that are going to help fetch you money without even excessive stress. So long as you have the time to dedicate, you have the time to commit, you have the time to do the hard work. Every business requires hard work, no matter how it is, no matter how seamless you think it is, there's always need for hard work. So getting in, I would like to actually clear the air here. When we talk about poultry waste, what comes into your mind first is poultry litter, poultry dung, manure. That is what comes into your mind first. I know that. But really, is that just what poultry waste is? Now, the question, if someone should ask, define poultry waste, what would you say? Poultry waste simply refers to waste collected from poultry. Now, this waste includes the manure, the beddings, which is used for the manure, feathers from processed chicken, intestines from chicken or processed chickens. All those are what you refer to as poultry waste. Now, of course, we know what these things are, and we know why it is important that we manage them effectively, or we will know why it is important that we manage them effectively. So I'm going to be picking one aspect of it for today, but just to clear the air, poultry waste, the manure aspect, is what we're going to be talking about mostly on the episode, how you can manage the dongs of your poultry to actually reduce ammonia content and to also make it palatable for other users that might surface or that you're going to be learning. Now, poultry waste. We know that mostly, yeah, basically we have systems of poultry farming. We have the battery cage, we have the deep litter, yeah, and all in all. And for the deep litter, when you have your chickens or your poultry birds on deep litter system, you would agree with me that they peck their litters. Yes, even after passing out feces, even after the waste feathers that are flapped on the on the would I say the beddings, they still peck on it. You know, waste feed, you always have feed droppings there. You always have feed that will be scattered around. So most of them, poultry birds on the general, will always peck there. That is why managing it is important when your birds are on your poultry litter. Now, how do you effectively manage it at this period? Firstly, you prevent water spillage. Yes, ensure that water does not spill on your poultry bedding. This way, you would prevent spread or accumulation of ammonia. Now, when you have your poultry beddings dry, you would agree with me that even you can pick it or pack it with your hands. But when you have your poultry manure or your dungs wet, the level of accumulation of ammonia in your pen house will be very, very high. Dry poultry manure or litter would always have a lesser level of ammonia and microorganisms. But whenever you have wet ones, there will be a faster growth or large boom of microorganisms, and the rate of ammonia will be highly increased, which can cause suffocation in your birds. Truth be told, even coccidiosis grows in damp litter. So the best thing for you to do to prevent your animals from falling sick is to manage your litter properly by preventing water spillage. That is one.
Dive into the world of agriculture with GAC Podcast. Subscribe now for a harvest of knowledge on farming, gardening, and agribusiness. Hit that like button if you are ready to cultivate your understanding and drop a comment to let us know your favorite agricultural topic. Let's grow together.
Still on the moisture content in your poultry litter, it is critical that we remember that the poultry litter has to be kept dry, like I said. Excessive moisture in the litter will actually encourage the growth of pathogenic bacteria and mold, and this can actually lead to breast blisters for your chickens because they lie on it, skin burns, scabby areas, bruising, condemnations, and downgrades. And wet litter can cause ammonia emission, like I said before, which is very serious performance and environmental factor that affects broiler production, especially for broilers. Now, it's important to keep the moisture content of your litter between 20 to 25% at all times. That means, or you can do this by squeezing the handful of litter in a good when you squeeze the handful of your litter and you leave it and it becomes moldy, right, and it could form a mold, then it means that you are on the wrong side. But when you squeeze it and you leave it and it scatters back, then I think they call that a rule of thumb for estimating the litter moisture content. So if it sticks together tightly or form a ball, then it is too wet. But when it scatters, all right, it will not actually stick at all. When the moisture content is on the low side, for you to know if it's still okay, it will not stick. So once you fold it or you squeeze it, it falls scattered once you have your hands open. Now, litter that are too dry can actually be dusty, and that can also lead to problem of dehydration for new chicks. It can also lead to respiratory diseases
and increased condemnations as well. It can be one of the indications that the birds may not be drinking, or one of the indications of this issue is that the birds will not be drinking enough water. So, too dry litters is an issue, too wet litters is an issue. But you would agree with me that it's easier to manage litters that are dry than to manage the ones that are wet. But during the dry season, you are likely to have very dry litter. Yes, you are likely to have very dry litter. So, what do you do in cases of times when you have wet litters? The best thing to do is to pack it more often. Yes, get it off the pen more often. Get more bedding materials and change your if you change your beddings once every 2 weeks. Once you start having wet litters or during rainy season, you have to change once every week. Yes. But during dry season, it can stay longer depending on when you feel that your litters are due to be packed. Now, when you actually process your poultry litter, you can use them in different methods. I'm just going to be touching this place just a little, and we're going to expatiate on it on other episodes. Now, poultry litter, as we know, can be used as animal feed for cattle. It can be used as animal feed for fish. One certain time, I actually caught a dog feeding on chicken poo and I flogged the dog. It wasn't because I felt, it was because I felt the litter was not even suitable for edibility by the dog. Not until I discovered that it contains nutrient that is also needed by the dog. But it might not be really good for the dog, but it's good for cow and it's good for fish. So why don't I get that poultry litter, dry it, and actually use it to feed fish and feed the cows? That will actually help me save money. Yes, it will help me save money. Now, there are many creative ways to manage your poultry waste to help you gain more profit and to also help the environment. On the next episode, we will actually talk about what are the negative effects of excessive exposure of poultry litter to the environment and how can we curb that. Following that, we're going to discuss about the monetary aspect, which is what we've all been waiting for. Thank you so much, dedicated listener, for joining us on this journey through the fields of knowledge on GAC Podcast. Your commitment to learning about agriculture and environmental sustainability continues to inspire us. If you've enjoyed this episode, do not forget to show your support by hitting that like button, subscribing for more insightful content, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. Together, let's sow the seeds of a sustainable future. Until next time, happy farming.